Oh, God.
Because we didn't just want to do a match.
Mm.
Well, the opening match is fucking great.
I can't drink that right now because it's 12% and I'm getting a bit hazy here.
Nice.
Fuck me. Jeez.
Okay, so the next question I wanted to ask you: Did you used to take part in the booking meetings online, like the massive group chats that went down?
I remember back in the day we had MSN, and from what I remember, it was MSN or it was something like that, and we had this group chat going on there. This was before we had WhatsApp groups and Facebook groups. I think it was an MSN group that was a UBW chat. We'd start a new one every time, and I remember everyone sharing ideas. I remember being invited in there when I first messaged Mark, and he said, "Hey guys, this is Danny. He's going to be coming down to join us." And I remember everyone was sharing ideas about their particular matches and what they think would be good ideas for feuds going forward. I don't remember ever making any booking decisions. I don't know what the process was for that. All I remember is sharing my ideas and then booking the match with whoever I was working with. So coming up with spots and finishes and things like that. But I never remember booking a show. I never remember being asked to be involved in the deciding what the outcome would be. I remember putting ideas forward. I think everyone put their ideas forward. I think it was my idea to turn Johnny Hill at Domination. I think it was my idea then for him to feud with Dave. Not so I could get the belt. It was just an idea on the day. Everyone's going to disagree with me on that, but whatever. It worked from what I remember. So. I don't remember any of the booking side of things. I just remember being part of the match that I was involved in. I never remember someone coming to me and saying, "Oh, okay, well, here's, Relentless and, what matches are we going to have?" I remember being told, "Oh, well, you're going to face Swinny." And then I would speak to Swimbad and we'd come up with what we were going to do in our match. Things like that. I never remember what the actual booking process was or how we came to the format of the show or anything like that. I think it was just a mutual agreement between everybody who was involved. And that I think was one of the problems that UBW had. I think one of the biggest problems was that everybody kind of got to do their own thing. And if we had, and we couldn't do this obviously because we weren't a properly licensed company, so we couldn't employ people, we couldn't tell people what to do. I just remember it would have been, I think I would have been more comfortable as well if we had one person sort of at the head of the table saying, "Here's what's going to happen, this is how it's going to happen, this is when it's going to happen," rather than saying, "Okay, well, you guys can have a match and it's going to be put on this show and then that's going to lead into this." I think if UBW's booking had more structure, then there's a very good chance it could still be going today.
Wow, them's powerful words. Okay, so the last proper UBW taping, UBW Addiction. We get there, we find out that Dave's saying this is it for me. So that leads into talk about Addiction and talk about how you felt about you got Dave's last match, which was going to be for Salvation, wasn't it?
Yeah.
2010.
I remember getting there to the Addiction taping, and the main event was supposed to be me, Champagne, and Dave in a three-way. And I remember just Dave saying that this is going to be it. This is my last show today. I'm doing my last taping today. And I remember saying to him, "Dave, you are so full of shit. you're the one guy who's going to come back and say, I want to wrestle again. I want to wrestle again." Because I remember him saying that he's going to have a match he wanted to have a match with Crush J. He wanted to have a match with K-Bar. He wanted to have another match with me and stuff. And I was like, I wasn't saying it to him in a mean way. I was just like, you're not going to go anywhere. He felt burnt out. I felt really bad for Dave because he really loved UBW. He really loved being a part of that company. And I felt kind of sad for him when he said to me, "Oh, this is my last thing." And I was just like, "Dave, you're not good. You're not going anywhere. You're going to come back." That was kind of what was the catalyst for the end of UBW in a way. Because when Dave went, everyone was sort of thinking to themselves, "Oh, okay, well, that's that then. Dave's going." And the Addiction match itself, was probably one of my, if not my favourite match that I've been involved in UBW. The triple threat with Dave and Mark, because we beat the crap out of each other for 15 minutes, and as far as I'm aware, it's the only match in UBW history that attracted an audience that had no idea what we were doing. So we did this spot where I put Mark against a tree, and I chained him to the tree, and I get a chair, and this girl who I have no idea who she is, she's part of this crowd that starts watching us, and she says, "Oh, please don't hurt him." And I'm like, "Oh, bang, and that was it. That was fun. You know, that match, being a part of that match was great. I mean, I got to work with both of them, and that was so much fun. The worst thing about that, however, was that Pete did a promo beforehand, and for some reason he thought it was a genius idea to be drinking beer whilst doing it. So he does the whole Steve Austin clash your beer cans together, and the whole top gets soaked. So we go on there, and it's just like slippy as shit, and you know, that kind of started us off in a bad way. I remember the match starting before I actually got there, so Dave and Mark were actually battering each other before I even arrived. But I just remember this, I took like a stump fucker or a DDT or something, and my face just got smushed in beer. And I was just like, damn it, Pete. And you know, nothing against Pete. I mean, it was pretty funny what he was doing, but at the same time, it's like, come on, could we have done that after? Like, really? But I remember the Addiction taping being, it was a good day. I just think that the problem with it was that Dave wanted to leave and he wanted to call it quits. I can't remember why he wanted to. I think he just felt burnt out and he didn't want to do it anymore. But somehow I got his last match, which was a complete disaster. And I said to him, you know, we've got to do something funny for the finish. We've got to do something weird. So we did the whole Shawn Michaels, Ric Flair. I'm sorry. I ended up saying, I'm not sorry. I don't love you. And bang. But I remember the match from that day, and I remember getting my face soaked in beer, and it was a fun day, and I don't remember why Dave wanted to leave. And like I said, you know, Dave, he was you know, God bless you, you're full of shit because you came back. But yeah, that was what I remember from that day. But that was, I think, the catalyst that kind of took UBW to the end of its road at the time.
Because if I remember rightly, so basically I said, if Dave's not doing it, I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
I think quite a few people had said that. So I think Johnny and Pete and Ryan and maybe Liam, they taped a Salvation on their own in Preston. And we were going to put yours and Dave's match, spice it on.
Yeah.
And that just didn't happen for some reason.
It was the driven concept. It was the case of having a show take place in one area, and then you've got your main event, which is added on to the end of it, taking place in another area. It's what they did at Ring of Honor Driven, I think. Which, don't get me wrong, was a phenomenal show. But the concept of it wasn't very good from what I remember. I don't remember anything about that show from us. All I remember was that it was me and Dave in Dave's last match. That's it. I can't take anything else away from that show. I couldn't tell you one match that happened on that show.
So, the big question, why did UBW stop?
I think UBW stopped because we couldn't put it out anywhere. We couldn't. The problem was the Ning site went down for whatever reason. I still don't know. We still couldn't get our footage on YouTube. There were disagreements within people within the roster. I remember. I think there was a disagreement between Mark and Pete. I don't know. You have to ask them about that. I don't know. I tried to stay away from the political side of stuff, but I remember after, sort of like I said, after Relentless, after Season's beatings, it was like, well, what more can we do? And we did the Addiction thing, which went okay. It was fine, but after it was just a case of, well, okay, Dave's gonna quit. Mark's not gonna do it if Dave doesn't do it. Okay, what do we do now? And I think that was the start of the end of UBW. I think we couldn't get any distribution for it. There was nowhere to air the UBW product. It was just for us at the time, I think. I think it was just a case of us filming it, putting the matches together and sending it to each other, which is fine and everything. But again, if no one's watching it, then why are you doing it? And it almost... We went from having this great summer of all these shows that everyone still talks about, everyone remembers, it kind of sort of just dried out, and no one really knows the real reason why. I think my feeling is that UBW went out because we couldn't air it anywhere. And if you've got a product and you can't air it, then, you know, look at ECW. You know, look what happened. You can't... There's no purpose to it. If you haven't got a purpose, what's the point in doing it?
I just like to say on camera and on here, that's bollocks. It's because me and Pete hated each other.
I said that as well. You know I said that as well. But that's where it cuts to you and you say what it is. Are you going to go candid about that? Are you going to like...
Oh, God, yeah.
Good. Because otherwise I'm going to seem like a bitch.
So that was the Addiction taping was February or March.
Mm.
It must have been February because March was Salvation.
Yep.
February 2010, and we didn't meet up again for a year. In March 2011, we decided to do a reunion show. One Last Dance. Now, I personally, and I'll be saying this when I do my bit, point blankly refused to do this show. I do not want to do this. I had to get talked into, because I was like, I'll do cameraman, I'll do ref, I'll do everyone. I got talked into it, and the only reason I agreed to do it was if I got the belt of my own fucking company. Yeah, tell me about One Last Dance.
After UBW closed in the 2010, 1 year later, during 2010 we put plans together to do a reunion show, which we'd call One Last Dance, and we're coming up with matches that we're going to do. And I remember, I think it was I said to Mark, I said I think we should have one more. And Mark was just like, I'm not doing it. It's not happening. I'll be a ref. I'll do camera work. And I remember just saying, "Now come on, I said to him, you always wanted to have this one match with me where it's back and forth, and it's this technical masterpiece that people talk about and everything." And I just tried to push at him, and I kept chipping away at him and chipping away at him. He wouldn't have any of it. He wasn't interested. And of course, I was thinking to myself, well, if he's not going to do it, I'm not interested either, because it just didn't seem like it was going to be worth anything at the time, because I didn't actually know who was going to be involved, or if people were interested in doing a reunion show. It still seemed quite soon, but it was sort of 1 year later. Eventually he gave in and said, yeah, alright, we'll do it, but we have to do it right. And again, which is kind of the theme for UEW, you can plan and plan and plan and hype things up, and then you get there on the day and it's just not what it should have been. But he, I actually, if I'm being completely honest with you, that would be my favourite match I had with him, the One Last Dance match. And with One Last Dance, I think it was nice for us to meet up one more time and to have that reunion, because it was, it was like we all still cared. The people who turned up there were the people who wanted, I think they wanted it to keep going. These were the people who then, after the show, would say, well, we should do this. Why aren't we doing this again? Because we all still wanted to be there. We all still wanted to do something, and it was kind of sad in a way, because I think deep down we all knew on that day that this was it. I think as much as all of us would bullshit about how we're all going to come back and we're all going to do it again, I think at that point it was a case of we knew that was it. That's the end. This is it. We're done. And I think if you want to be taken seriously as a company, then you're not going to put your belt on champagne. So that was kind of the end of it.
Two more, just two.
Okay.
So
is this all right?
Perfect. Cool. So that was 2011. You've got to turn that vibrator off, mate.
Yeah, man. Sorry.
You've got to turn that off. 2000. That was 2011, and literally the only. Sorry, I've missed.
Hang on, mate. 1 second. It's my mother.
Because it's not on the list. I'm sorry. I've got to talk about something else as well. So 3.
What day is it today?
Saturday.
Tuesday should be fine.